What's going on, everybody? Once again, this is Club 50 Sports. We thank you all for joining us. I'm A-Dub. I forgot my name almost right there. I'm here with my man, Manny C, of course. Manny, talk to the people. What's going on?
Oh yeah, man. We're here, man. Another week of sports. We had some good playoff games yesterday, and here we are, man. We're gonna discuss at least one game that it was that great game, and that was the nightcap, which was the between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, and that is what we're gonna start off with tonight. We're gonna start off with this playoff game that happened yesterday. This great playoff game.
Absolutely. Like Manny said, some great sports this past weekend. We're not talking about hockey today, but just to let y'all know, y'all see the hat. I'm not gonna go too deep into that. But yes, the Nuggets were dethroned by the mighty Timberwolves. The Timberwolves went up, went back down, and then battled it out in the best of three to close out the series. Manny, what were your thoughts on it? What'd you see?
Man, I really thought I like we said last week on our show that this was going to be a 7 game series, and I was not surprised at what happened yesterday because the Timberwolves, like you said at the beginning of the season, they were built for this moment to be the champs. And by the way, for some of you that don't know out there, there's a name that we need to remember here in this playoff series, and his name is Tim Connolly. Tim Connolly was the
Uh,
GM.
Tim Connolly. Oh, okay, for the Nuggets. Okay, I see where you're going
Yes,
with this. I
Tim
see where you're going.
Connolly was the GM of the Denver Nuggets and the architect of building this roster. Then what happens 2 years ago? He goes and takes a front office job, making more money, of course, with the Timberwolves, and he built this roster to be his old roster. It's amazing. It's amazing what the guy did this past season. So
Impressive.
it's impressive. So what happened yesterday? I was very surprised. The Nuggets were up by 20. I
Yes,
they had it in the bag.
yes,
One,
they did.
two, three, 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. That's when everything went south. They disappeared. And what happened also, the role players, Adam, like me, we have always been discussing here in the playoffs. The role players have to play and they have to come and play, especially in a game 7. Well, let me give you some numbers here. Gordon had 4 points, Porter had 7, and KCP had a measly 5 points. That's a combined 16 points in the game. That's unacceptable. Murray and Jokic, I'm not surprised. They both came to play. But I think this game, Adam, went down to the role players of Denver. They didn't come to work to game 7. They say, you know what, we're not gonna come to work. And that was that deciding factor. And major props, by the way, major props to Cat. Cat had a great series, man. And so did McDaniels, and so did Edwards. These three cats came to play. Not gonna say much about Rudy Gobert because he did get manhandled yesterday again by Jokic. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is expected to get manhandled by the best player
In the
in,
league
in
right
the
now.
in the league. But man, can you do something? Can you hold him at least to 25 points? You know, he had 34. Man, if you are the defensive player of the year, come on, man, come to play, man, come to play. You know, but Adam, it was the role players that it was that deciding factor of this series. Gordon didn't show up in this series, and so didn't Porter. What do you have to say about that?
Um, yeah, the points that you made are definitely valid when it comes to role players, specifically at home, which is where they typically play better, or you expect your role players to play better. When it comes to the starting five of the Denver Nuggets, you match them up against basically any team, and you can arguably say that they may have the best starting lineup in the business. But where they were lost was their depth. They had no bench depth, and we're
Yeah.
talking about how many points the role players were able to provide. What role players? You know, they didn't have very much coming into the series. They Jokic and Murray, their backs must be killing them with carrying the team. And of course, Aaron Gordon is doing his thing, but we all understand that without that two-headed monster, that team is maybe a lottery team because there's no real players on that squad. And they did not come out to play yesterday. They scored a total of 90 points. Jokic and Murray accounted for 69 of those points. So you got 21 points coming from everybody else, you know, the other starters along with the bench players. And 21 points is something that one player should be able to give them in a supporting role, not something that you expect from a combined unit in support. So that was a major factor. But I also have to say, man, this was a tale of two halves. You know what I mean? This was a tale of two halves. We would not even be having this conversation if the Minnesota Timberwolves did not show some grit, if they did not dig deep and come back in the game, as you stated, that they were down in by 20, 15 at the half, by as many as 20 and 15 at the half. And if you just look at it, if you just look at the stats and the game and the play by play, man, it was just a steady grind, and there was
And defense, a lot of defense.
they put the clamps on, and they were like, hey, you know what? These guys are going to go ahead and get theirs, Murray and Jokic. None of these other guys are going to do anything tonight. And they did everything that they could to make it difficult for them. They did that. And on the other end, they started putting some balls in the bucket. And as you said, Karl Anthony Towns, hats off to him. He's always been questioned with regards to
Questionable.
his ability to come up big in big moments. And I think that he did a good job with that. Not only putting himself on Jokic at times, because he did take on that challenge from the defensive player of the year. He was like, defensive player of the year, step to the side, my bro. Step to the side. You know what I mean? We need some girth here. You know what I mean? I need to provide some of this weight because you're not doing it. You're getting pushed around. So Cat stepping up to the plate and being that leader was huge. It's a great sign for his development and where he's going as a player. And this team is scary for some years to come, I must say. But I'll send it back to you for any other thoughts that you may have on this game. Yes, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yes, I'm very happy also for Mike Conley, even though he had 10 points, but he played great defense down the stretch along with Edwards. It was a collective effort, and that is what got him over the hump in the second half. It was great defense. My hats off goes to Mike Conley and the gang. Edwards, for me, I think he already has a seat on my superstar / whale table.
Oh no, yeah.
He's going to be a factor in the next series against the Mavs and going forward. I think he's here to stay. He's here to stay. I love Edwards. He's a baller. Mad props to him, and congratulations again to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Hey, this is crazy. 20 years to the day since the last time they were in the Western Conference Finals.
20 years, my friend. 20 years.
We'll have to see how this works out for those guys. I'm wishing them the best. I'm loving this story, I must tell you. And you didn't say it in this segment, but hey, listen, you were right. I did say if they didn't win Game 4, they were out of it, and they proved me wrong. They came back and said we can win
Game 5. Yeah, Game 5. It was Game 5.
Oh no! It was Game 4 that they were actually playing, and I was like, they can't go to Game 5. They need to win.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. You're right. My mistake. Yes.
No, it's all good. But I just wanted to walk myself back. It wasn't that I was off the bandwagon, but at the end of the day, that was a tall mountain to climb, and they still came back and they did it. What, like you said, hats off to them. Great job for the Timberwolves. And we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with you guys with another segment about our man Jared Goff getting some money. We'll talk about it.